William, you spoke to the woman at the heart of this who was involved in the argument over payment with the Secret Service agent. What is her side of the story?
One of the things that she says is that she had no idea that these guys were Secret Service agents. She says she only found out a few days later when the news broke, and that she was really stunned by that. She says that she met up with a small group of Americans in a discotheque here in Cartagena, and one of them was essentially hitting on her and said he wanted to be with her, and she says that she told him, well, that's great, but you have to give me a gift. And he said, well, how much is the gift? And she says that she told him $800. And then a lot of drinking happened, and at some point she and him went back to their hotel, and also there was another Colombian woman who hooked up with another one of the Secret Service agents, and they all went back to the hotel together. And the next morning, this woman asked for her payment, and the guy says he became angry, and he said, I was drunk, and you can't expect me to pay that. And she insists, and he calls her names and gets angry and throws her out of the room. And then there's sort of this bizarre scene unfolds where she enlists the help of this other prostitute and the other American, and they sort of knock on the door. She says they were discreet and weren't trying to make a scene, but they spend a couple hours trying to coax this guy to open his door, and according to her, he wouldn't even say a word. And finally, she gets fed up and goes to leave, and then runs into a police officer in the hotel, tells him the story, and he goes back with her. And then you have this bizarre scene where you've got two Colombian police officers now, these two prostitutes, a hotel security guy shows up, and then at some point more of the Americans come out of their hotel rooms. And according to her, three of these guys are standing in front of this one guy's door, sort of blockading it against all these other people around there. And this is all going on in this very fancy beachfront hotel the day before President Obama shows up for the summit meeting.
I mean, the scene you describe is unbelievable. I mean, it's the fact that it went on this long. There are reports that the president's schedule may have been in the room, which would obviously, be a security concern. Did she see the schedule or anything else that could have jeopardized the president's security?
No, there's no indication of that. And as I said, she says she had no idea at all that these guys had anything to do with the government or Obama or any kind of security thing.
This woman, she was very clear with you that she was an escort, not a prostitute. This may be a dumb question, but what is the difference?
It was extremely upsetting to her, even though she hadn't ever been identified in any of these reports, that people were talking about her as though she was a common prostitute. And she insisted, I'm not a prostitute. She said, I'm an escort. And she said the difference is that she gets paid more money and has a better sort of clientele.
You said the woman was still angry, but also seemed scared, fearing some kind of retaliation from the U.S. government?
I think that she's scared of a bunch of things. I think she's scared just to find herself at this, the person who sort of kicked the hornet's nest and started this thing off. She's scared, she says, of, that maybe this guy is now in big trouble and could lose his job and would want to retaliate against her. She says, this is the U.S. government, this is a huge deal. I think that this is just a society where, often for good reason, there's been reason to be afraid of authority and of, government security apparatus. So there's just this she's just afraid that somebody might, want to do something to her.